Hello everyone, my name is Sahil. I'm a real estate consultant, advisor, and welcome to my next episode of the beautiful wealth creation series where we've been talking about mindset. We are learning about mindset, how mindset has been a really big asset or a change we need in our society to create wealth. So you so I've covered a few topics in the previous video. Please do check them out if you haven't. And in this video, we'll be learning the art of leverage. How can you leverage and make your life easier? How can you use leverage to grow? The art of leveraging, what everyone is doing out there. And if you're not, you should be doing this as soon as possible. How can you use that leverage to up your net worth or create wealth with it? So let's use our example, one of the best examples I like, one of the unique examples I take and try to explain you things. So let's take an example how businesses actually use leverage to create money or wealth or increase the net worth. So let's understand. So there is a business who manufacturing some product to another business. They provide something to business which they use for their product. So take an example of plastic bottles. So a business produces plastic bottles which provides to a drink company which uses those bottles to fill their drink and sell it out. So that a particular business creates some amount of bottles and they supply to this business. But what happens is, in this kind of transaction, the payment is not instant because there are quality checks and a lot of process, and it takes generally 90 days of time. So there is a cooling period of 90 days when they get their money back. So they give the product today, but the money they get is after 90 days. So now 90 days, 3 months. So what they are supposed to do for the next 3 months? Do they stop and wait for the money and then use that money to make the next batch? But that's not how it works, because this business will require another batch of bottles in the next month. Now what they are supposed to do, that is when they go out and take leverage. What is leverage? Let's cover that first. Leverage is debt. When you take that money to invest in an asset and grow that money more so that it beats the interest. So that's how you're using leverage. So simple terms, let's make it more simple. If you want to invest 1 crore rupees and you have only 10 lakh or 20 lakh rupees in real estate, we have 20 lakh rupees, we take 80 lakh of loan and we can buy a property of 1 crore rupees. Now we have used leverage to invest a much higher amount in something which will give you return on that higher amount. So if I'll be paying interest to it, but I won't be paying it today. It's a slow process, but that asset will grow. That is leverage. When you don't have the money, but you don't have the money to buy it, and you get that leverage from the bank and invest a higher amount. Okay. So now this business, coming back to our example, this business who supplied this another business bottles. Now what happens is, now another next month this business will again require X amount of bottles. Now this business will go to a bank and ask for a loan, which is leverage. So generally what happens is, when we middle class people or someone who is working a 9 to 5 job, me and you goes out to the bank to get leverage, what we do, we take loan for a car or a home or a personal loan. Generally we pays 8 to 9 for home, 9 to 10 somewhat around for car, and maximum of 11 12 for our personal loan, sometimes 16 also, but generally this is the range. But what happens is business world is, you must have seen in Shark Tank also, they say standard 12 taka. What is 12 taka? 12%, standard 12%. In the business world, 12% is the, you know, standard rate of interest for a business. This is what happens here. Now this person is taking that money from the bank on loan, mm, I mean taking that loan on 12%, which is high. As like we buy a real estate or a car, it's higher, but that person is using that money to invest in an asset. That asset is themselves, where they'll create a bottle, and they'll be able to create profit of at least 20%, maybe 18%, 20%, 25%, and repay that debt with 12%, and still be able to create 6 8 10 12% of profit. That's how they use leverage to deliver that. Then they take another loan, and that's how they create a cycle. And that, so next in the third month they'll get the payment of their first order, they'll use that money. So then they'll get another payment, they'll use that money to pay that debt, then they'll use another money to pay that debt. That's how this cycle goes. Sometimes the bank do faces losses, there are chances, but generally it works that way. And that's how business uses leverage to grow itself. Another part of is when sometimes they get investors, how they use investors money to grow themselves, to create a larger order. So if this business is producing x amount of bottles, delivering it, they go to investor, or they go to public platforms to, raise funds, and they get 10x amount of money, and they are able to create that 20x amount of product. Now that 20x will fetch them money, and then again this cycle goes on, and that profit they create will help the investors to make money, and they then go public, then public makes money, and the investor gets the exit. That's how the scenario works. Not going more into it, I hope you're able to make sense out of this example how businesses actually work. So let's, how can we, a person who is a middle class, who works in a 9 to 5 job, can use leverage to grow their wealth? So the number one example I'd take is, when we are think of investing in share market, we can only invest the money we have in our hand or in our bank account. We cannot use the money we don't have, because nobody gives you money, I mean loan, for investing in share market, because the chances of you losing that money are extremely high, because you might be an amateur who doesn't know how things works, and you might lose it. But you cannot, they don't give it also, but that you cannot take debt to invest in the market. That's a rule also, that is a rule for government also. So the point I'm trying to make is, when you invest in the market, you are investing 20 lakh rupees, so you're getting in return on that money, which is a nice way, which is the right way to do it. But when we come, when we think about real estate, when we go towards buying a residential property, generally it's a flat, we get the loan at cheaper rate, because they have the asset to recover the money. So we don't get 100% loan, we get 80 90, sometimes we get 98% of the agreement value. Not that we have to take the registration and all the other things on ourselves, but we can easily get 90% loan on the agreement value or the price of the property. So I have 20 lakh, and leverage gives me the capacity to buy a property worth 1 crore. If I save money and try to do it, I won't be able to do that in the next 20 years or 30 years. But with the help of leverage, I'll be able to do it now at this moment. This is how the art of leveraging works. This is how wealth is created. Leverage helps you to invest in a product which you can never dream of in, you know, investing. There are people who save money and buy that thing. There is another way, but they are not using the leverage. Using leverage actually gives you the actual, you know, much higher return, because you won't be paying that money today. You'll be paying that money slowly, and money loses its value eventually because of the inflation. The stats are 6%, but it's way higher than that. We all know how expensive it is getting today. So the inflation is very high. So let's think about it. The bank is charging 9%, interest on my loan amount, and the inflation is 8%, 7 to 8% for a common man. So the money is losing value approx 7-8%, 7.5%, assuming 7.5%. So you're only paying 1.5%. The money is eventually slowly losing its value, and there will be a time that your 50,000 today won't, your 50,000 EMI or 60,000 EMI today will be almost negligible after 15 years or 20 years, because the value of money is degraded so much. That's how leverage actually works, and this is the art which every middle class should be using. This is how you should plan your investment, because the you'll getting 10%, 15% return in real estate, including the rental. So you get 8 to 12% on appreciation depending upon the property, depending upon the city. Cities generally, I'm talking about tier 1 or big cities only. Okay, so this is how you get 8 to 12% on the capital appreciation. Then you get around 3 to 6% on rental yield. Sometimes rental yield is very high in residential property also, but acquiring those properties, little bit of luck to be available on the right time to get that right properties. Sometimes, you know, luck based, but general start we have 3 to 6%. That's how you calculate your return in real estate. So you're growing not your 20 lakhs on 10% or 12%. You're growing that 1 crore a flat on 10 to 12%. That's how it works actually. So that's how leverage increases your investment amount, and that's how you can create wealth for yourself. That's how you use leverage. If you are someone who is doing business, if you are in business, that's how you must be familiar with this leveraging concept. This is how actually you make money. And when going to investor, you get interest free money, but you grow your business so much that you give them 10x 20x returns because of the exit. If you're someone who's aware about all these things, because you're in business, then you know how important is leverage when you buy real estate. That's how you should be planning your real estate investment. So by investing 20 lakhs, you'll be able to afford something which is of 1 CR. That's big is the difference. You won't be able to do this in any other form of asset. Any other. You cannot buy gold because of loan. You cannot take loan to buy gold. You can take loan on gold, but the only asset class you can take leverage is real estate. That's why I promote real estate so aggressively, and I want you all to be in part of this, and I want you all to be educated and make calculated decision. So this is it for this video. I hope you all liked it. Please, if you are enjoying it, please comment loving it, and share your thoughts, share your opinions in the comment section. Let's create a interaction where we talk about, share our opinions, and comment if you want something you're looking for and I should make a video on it. So thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.